speaking of So You Think You Can Dance, it's not only one of the most popular dance shows on TV, but is also kind of considered one of the most popular primetime shows on TV. The choreography is presented by super elite group of professional dancers. The skill level is extremely high, and it's just simply magnetic to watch. What were your thoughts on introducing the Bollywood dance style to this mix? Were you ever concerned that it wouldn't be regarded as having maybe the same level of difficulty as some of the other different dance styles that are presented on the show?
Yeah, it's funny when I got this chance, I was already a fan of the show. I was already just watching the show, and I just thought to myself, how great would it be if they do Bollywood? And I kid you not, the following week I got a message from one of the executives, producers of the show, calling me in for just not even like I guess you can call it interview, but I think they really wanted to know what this was. And an inside tidbit is that they weren't even sure if they wanted to do Bollywood or Bhangra.
Oh, wow.
I had to kind of explain to them, of course I can do both. I'm Punjabi, so I know what Bhangra is. I also teach Bhangra. But I think you should go with Bollywood. It seems to be like the thing right now. And I kind of explained to them the previous shows that I had done, The Office, etc., how just this style of dance is really becoming popular, and then they took a chance. And I got lucky because the couple that I got, because it's random, just the way that the show's dynamic is. These kids have to draw a dance style out of a hat, and then I got very lucky to have picked the favorites of the show at that time. They of course went on to win the show. The guy that I got, he won the show. Right. Joshua Allen is his name. And then the girl, Katie Sheen, she got top girl. So kismet hi aisi thi that I was able to, introduce this style of dance to the nation and to be able to showcase it on the two contestants that were considered the favorites was a blessing. I wasn't too nervous as soon as I met them and saw what they could do. So I went in with a routine that I felt was modest. And they, of course, had some problems with, getting down all the mudras that I threw from Bharatanatyam dance styles, and certain things they weren't, accustomed to. But, they were phenomenal at the end, and, to this date, the actual show calls Dum Tana, that was the routine that I did, one of their top 10 favorites. So that's right there, I think, validation for me that, there was obviously something good that came out of it, and people enjoyed it. What was the second part of your question?
I think you basically answered it, but it was basically, like were you concerned that it wouldn't be regarded as having the same level of difficulty as some of the other styles that are shown on the show, like other dance styles?
Yeah, well, I think at that time I was. I guess it's fair to say, because that season that I was on, it was season 4, and we're beginning season 9 in a few months. And it wasn't until the last few seasons that people are now actually considering Bollywood dancing one of the hardest dance styles to get. And People magazine recently had a poll asking people, and then they printed this out, what's the hardest dance style on So You Think You Can Dance? And number 2 was Bollywood.
Oh, wow.
I think number 1 was hip-hop, but number 2 was Bollywood. So when I read that, and of course, it was sent to me, and I was like thinking, oh my gosh, it was definitely, I felt good to see that there, because because Bollywood dancing isn't easy. And the first few seasons, I have to be honest with you and tell you that, whenever these contestants drew Bollywood out of the hat, there was this I guess, feeling that they're safe. And when I say that they're safe, means that they would get enough votes via text or phone calls because people like the phone so much. So they wouldn't be so much judged on what they did, but they would be judged on the fact that they did Bollywood, and therefore they'd be safe. And that notion's gone, because last season, every Bollywood routine that I had choreographed did well. However, the person who did it was kicked off the show that week. So I think people are finally getting that this is not an easy dance style. And I think for myself, you know, as you're on a show and you're invited back season after season, you have to ante your game. So whenever I go on the show now, coming up with a new routine, I think I have more anxiety now about whether they're going to get it, this routine, versus when I first started, because I'm just having to give them more difficult stuff.
Right. So, I mean, your choreography in the show is, like you were talking about, it's a fusion of different Indian, like classical, modern, folk dance styles. As you know, obviously, that Indian classical dance form takes years to obviously master. You were talking about the hand gestures, the mudras, which require years of training before reaching perfection. So you teach these routines to obviously non-Indian classical dancers, and you incorporate a lot of difficult Indian classical dance choreography. How are you able to get these dancers who have never done any kind of Indian dancing, much less Indian classical dancing, to master the complex choreography and you know, to us most people are just amazed by what they how they perform, what they deliver for the show.
No, thank you for saying that. I mean, of course, I feel that you know, there's definitely the mass public does appreciate the fact that these kids are trying. I call them kids because they're very young. They do try their best, and they do try to, you know, not offend anyone. And that's always been one of their top concerns whenever they're doing Bollywood. And it's like, you know, they always ask me, is this right? Is this gesture right, Nakul? I mean, we don't want to offend anybody, and you know, and I understand that. Excuse me, that, you know, Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Odissi, whatever style I throw in there, it takes years and years and years to master. By no means are these contestants trying to say that they are doing the classical end of it correctly. I think it's more of the package. How are they able to do it so well, and how are they able to manage? You know, the audition process of finding the best in the nation is tedious. You know, there are thousands of people who audition for So You Think each year, and at the end they only pick 20 people to be on stage to actually make the show. So if you think about that, I mean, you're really dealing with and talking about who are the 20 best dancers in the nation right now. So they better be damn good and be able to be like chameleons and do ballroom one week and hip-hop the next, and then do a contemporary number, and then, who knows, and do Bollywood. Am I always happy with the results? No, I'm not. Am I happy with the attempt? Absolutely. Do I get criticism from some Indians saying, why are you throwing classical stuff? All the time. But I think what people don't understand is that the type of Bollywood that I do is, I'm very proud of saying this, is very traditional based with what's fresh and what is trendy right now within movement of like hip-hop or jazz. This is what America wants. They don't want they don't want a Sheila Ki Javani number. They don't. And it makes complete sense, because in India, you know, there's such a, I guess, interest of being Western and being very Americanized, whereas, you know, in America, you know, we're already in America. They don't need to be any more Westernized. If anything, they're looking for richness and culture. So I'm choreographing to what my demographic is, and my demographic is obviously NRIs and and non-Indians, and that's the bulk of who watches the show. And if my demographic was just Desi people, then of course I wouldn't, throw so much of the classical influence in it, because I know what the Desi market wants.
Right. So many people have the perception of Indian classical dance being, I guess, too slow or lacking the dynamic nature, the fast-paced energy, and the acrobatics of Western dance forms. Your choreography is clearly anything but slow, and you incorporate a great deal of acrobatic movements that are typically not a part of Indian dance choreography. In order for Indian dance to receive, I guess, more recognition in the international dance scene and to be considered to have, like, I guess, the same level of difficulty as other Western contemporary or classical dance forms, do you think that there's a need to modify the classical or the traditional choreography so that it's considered fast-paced, high-energy, acrobatic, and just maybe to include some of the Western influenced choreography?
Well, I mean, I think just Bollywood dancing, just the definition of it is so loose now, whether it's choreography by me or the greats out there like Saroj Khan or Shamik, Bosco. Everyone is so distinct of what they're known for and what they do, and it's so loose to say what is Bollywood dancing and what are the elements that should be in it and what should not be in it. I think earlier on, and I would be the first to admit this, and would be watching a Bollywood movie and going, why are they throwing so much hip-hop into this? I don't understand, what's going on here? Since when is hip-hop a part of Bollywood, But then, with anything, especially dance, everything evolves, and everything changes, and sometimes it changes for the good, and sometimes for the bad. It's really subjective. It's really, it all goes back to the person watching it and what their opinion is, and it all goes back to what someone's taste is. Personally, I miss the days of choreography when it was I call them the Madhuri days or the Sri Devi days. Those are the days that I think that Bollywood was at its best.
Absolutely agree.
Nowadays, I do like some of the stuff that they do, but to me, when I'm watching a Bollywood movie and I'm watching a song, I don't see the culture behind it anymore, Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I have to step back and go, okay, they're only choreographing, and they being the choreographers, they're choreographing to what the director obviously wants, to what they think is going to be the so-called masala in the movie, and I get it, and I get that they're in India, they're wanting that Western appeal. I think throwing a tumble, a cartwheel in a dance, in a Bollywood dance, is something that isn't a new thing anymore. I think it's part of it. I mean, there's pop and lock going on in Bollywood dancing that was started a long time ago with Prabhu Deva and with Hrithik Roshan doing pop and lock now. You would never see pop and lock in the 80s, because it wasn't even there. Mm. So I think Bollywood dancing, in my opinion, I think it's dance moves from around the world with an Indian touch to a Bollywood song. I think that's what it's, and in my opinion, I think that's what Bollywood dancing has now is. I think it's any movement. It's all go. Everything works now, apparently. But again, as I mentioned, it's really a matter of preference of what you like. And I always like it, excuse me, when it has that hint of what to me is Bollywood dancing, which is classical influences mixed with Indian folk dancing. Right. That to me brings back memories of watching Madhuri and those days.